Now let's move a bit forward. So when we talk about the computation of the cost of debt, the cost of debt is calculated depending upon the type of debt. The cost of debt is calculated depending upon the type of debt. And when we talk about the type of debt, so there are basically two major types of debt. One of them is a redeemable debt, which means that the loan has to be repaid, and the other one of them is an irredeemable debt. The other one of them is an irredeemable debt. That means the loan is not required to be repaid. And when we talk about the redeemable debt, you can have a traded debt, you can have non-traded debt. When you have got a redeemable debt, you can have a traded debt, you can have a non-traded debt. What do you mean by traded debt? What do you mean by non-traded debt? So like for example, if you've got a bank loan, that is going to be considered as a non-traded debt. When you talk about the loan notes are going to be considered as a traded debt. The loan notes are going to be considered as a traded debt. Okay. So now, how exactly do we calculate these cost of debts on redeemable, irredeemable debts? So let's have a quick discussion about them one by one. Now, basically what happens is, when we talk about the computation of this cost of debt, okay. So now when we talk about the non-traded debt, so how exactly do you calculate the cost of a non-traded debt? Again, I'm saying the non-traded debt means the bank loan. So how exactly do we calculate the cost of non-traded debt? It's simply the interest percentage multiplied by 1 minus t. So for example, if you have got a bank loan on which you pay an interest of 10%. For example, if you've got a bank loan on which you pay an interest of 10% and the tax rate prevalent is 40%, so the after tax cost of this bank loan is going to be 6%. So the first thing is, if you've got a non-traded debt, the simple concept of calculating the cost of a non-traded debt is interest percentage multiplied by 1 minus t. Okay. Now similarly, the second type of debt that we come across is a traded debt. And as I mentioned to you, that for example, if you have got a convertible loan notes or a loan notes, don't talk about the convertible loan note right now. If you have got the loan notes, so they are considered to be the traded debts. How do we establish the cost of the traded debt? So the cost of the traded debt is established using the IRR, which is simply, let's say, A% plus capital A divided by A minus B into B% minus A%. So we do know the formula of the IRR. So simply what happens is, if you have got a traded loan note, you calculate its cost using the IRR. How do you calculate its cost? You calculate its cost using the IRR. Now, let's take an example. We've got an example which is, let's say, a 10% $100,000 3-year bond, which is redeemable at a premium of 5% and the tax rate is 40%. So how exactly are you going to calculate the cost of this specific bond? So let me demonstrate to you. First of all, remember, whenever we do calculate the IRR is always calculated from the perspective of an investor. So what you would do is that you would say here, cash flow, discount factor, and then present value, and then another discount factor, and then another present value. So if I talk about it at time period 0, the investor would have invested 100,000. From time period 1 till time period 3, 10% into 100,000, so the investor would get an interest of 10,000 every year. And the redeemable at 5% means at year 3, the investor would be getting 105,000. What is the investor going to be getting? He's going to be getting 105,000. So what happens is, the best way to calculate IRR is use a discount rate of 10% first. That's one. You can have this as 2.483, the 0.751. sorry, 2.486. Okay, so what do we have? We have got 100,000 as an outflow here. We have got 24,860 here. And then what happens is 0.751 into 105,000. So it actually is 78,855 here. If we talk about it, so what happens is 3,715 is the 3,715 is the present value. You do know that when we calculate the IRR, the objective of us is to have one positive, one negative NPV. So what I am going to do is that I am going to use 15% as another rate. This is 2.283. This is 0.657. Okay, 10,000 is the interest. 10,000 is the interest. I've used the NUT factor. This 10,000 is actually the interest. Because from time period 1 till time period 3, every year the investor would get interest. Yes, 10% on 100,000. So resultingly what happens is we have got 22,830 and then 105,000 multiply 0.657. So we end up getting 68,985. So if you talk about it, you will end up getting 8,185. So if I talk about computation of the IRR for this, it's going to be 10% plus. So resultingly, you will have the IRR. So this is going to turn out to be 11.56%. How much is it going to turn out to be? 11.56%. Let's see if it is okay to you. Then I'm going to explain to you one more thing with respect to it. You're asking a question, how do we decide which discount factors to use? So it's actually something which is your judgment. Basically, what you do is that the first discount factor that you use, I always suggest use 10%. Because it's the most common discount factor and you usually even remember their values, although you have the table of the discount factors in the exam, but still you do know that. So use 10%, and then what you can do is that, see, you had a positive NPV over here, we need one negative NPV, so it's an inverse relationship. It's an inverse relationship. Discount rate and NPV have got an inverse relationship. Discount rate increases, NPV decreases. That's how things are going to be. As we mentioned, this is actually KD. And the actual cost of debt that we use is KD 1 minus T. So what I can do is that 11.56% multiply by 1 minus 0.4. So if I say 11.56% multiply by 1 minus 0.4, so this is actually going to be what? 11.56 into 0.6. So it's actually going to be 6.936%. How much is it going to be turning out to be? 6.936%. Now let's move a bit forward and discuss further. A lot of books would suggest this method of computation, But what ACCA prefers is not this method. There's a flaw in this method, and the flaw is with respect to this figure. Because you see, when we do KD1 minus T, so this 11.56 incorporates 100,000, 105,000, everything. And only this 100,000 is deductible for tax. This is not deductible. So what happens is, if we have to go about computing the calculation, we have to use the after tax interest here. What do we have to use? We have to use the after tax interest here, which is actually going to be what? 10,000 into 0.6. So it's going to be 6,000. So what we should be using is, we should be using 6,000 instead of 10,000. So now if I perform the calculation with 6,000 now, so let's see what we get now. It's actually 6,000 into 2.486. So it's actually gonna be 14,916. So the resultingly, it's going to be 6,229 negative. So obviously, the 15% that we are using, we'll get further negative, but doesn't matter. We can always calculate the IRR using two negative NPVs also. So it's gonna be 6,000 into 2.283. So it's 13,968. And it's gonna be 17,317. Now, if I calculate the IRR using these values, again my IRR is going to be like this: 10% plus 6,229. It's actually minus 6,229 divided by minus 6,229 minus is going to be minus plus 17,317 into 5%. So if I calculate it like this, how much am I gonna get? It's actually so it actually turns out to be 7.2% approximately. And this is the correct way of calculating the cost of this redeemable debt. The reason being, what happens is, this is a better approach, which is to use 6,000 rather than using the 10,000. So kindly look at it so that you can have an idea. So what I have done now is the correct way of calculating the cost of this redeemable debt, which is to use the after tax interest here. Let's move a bit forward and let's talk about the irredeemable debt. The irredeemable debt also has a name, which is called perpetual debt. Now, what exactly do you mean by perpetual debt? This actually means that this debt is going to be an issue for perpetuity. Perpetual debt means this debt is going to be an issue up till perpetuity. Now, when we talk about this perpetual debt, which is the irredeemable debt, how exactly do we calculate the cost of this specific debt? So the cost of this specific debt is calculated using the market yield method. Now, what do we mean by market yield method? So market yield method is, it says the cost of this is after tax interest divided by market value of debt. Now, what do we mean by this? If you've got a 10% $100,000 bond, which is an infinity bond, So what is actually going to happen is, if this bond has a market value, I'm repeating, if this bond has a market value of, let's say, 95,000. So how exactly are you going to be calculating the cost? You're going to be calculating the cost like this. You'd say after tax interest, the tax rate is, let's say, 30%. So after tax interest is 10% into 100,000 into 0.7, because it is 1 minus T. And then you would divide it by 95,000. So So you will end up getting the cost. Then you divide it by 90,000, 95,000. So you will end up getting the cost. So you'll end up getting the cost, which is going to be what? It's going to be 10% into 100,000 into 0.7. So it's going to be 100,000 into 0.7 into 10% divided by 95,000. So you'll end up getting the cost as 7.368% or 7.37% round off figure. Okay, I'll repeat it again. It's actually the after tax interest divided by market value of debt. How do we calculate the after tax interest? It's simply the interest percentage multiplied by the par value multiplied by 1 minus t. So you end up getting the after tax interest. So it's after tax interest divided by market value of debt. You end up getting this cost.